What's going on, everybody? I'm Winston A. Marshall, aka the Swaggy Blurred, and this is my F1 spoiler review. If this is your first time here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, throw a thumbs up on this video, man, and get in the comments and let me know what you're thinking about the film. Now, I wanted to wait until Monday to do my spoiler review because I wanted to talk box office. I wanted to talk what this had to do for the studios and if this is going to change anything, if we're going to see a resurgence of these kind of 80s-esque summer blockbusters, because F1 crushed. For just looking at the Variety reporting, 57 million domestically, 146.3 million the whole opening weekend, and it cost roughly $250 to produce. So it's pretty clear that this movie is going to not only make its money back, but it's going to turn a profit with a strong opening weekend like that, and good word of mouth really coming from folks about this film. Now, the main thing that I think really boosts this movie, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that folks are, I guess, kind of tired of the formula for the most part that we're currently in. It's not to say that people don't still like superhero films. They clearly do. I mean, look at Guardians, look at Deadpool and Wolverine, look at Spider-Man No Way Home the last couple of years. Those all had made gangbusters. But if you had a movie that wasn't really speaking to folks, didn't really have a message to say, they kind of pulled back a little bit, stuff like that, you'd get kind of middling responses. Like you had Thunderbolts, which actually had a really good message, but it wasn't strong enough of a desire because Marvel's been kind of up and down for folks to show up. You look at Captain America Brave New World, came out of the gate kind of strong because you had both Sam Wilson in his first outing, you had the name Captain America, you had the Red Hulk teased in it, but once people kind of saw the movie and they were like, the story's kind of all over the place, like the movie itself is kind of mid, they kind of backed off here. So the thing about F1, first of all, you have the director, Joseph Kosinski, who is done a lot of movies over the years. Most recently, where you've heard that name, is Top Gun Maverick. So you're looking at F1, which I have never seen Days of Thunder, but talking to Coy and Christian this last week on Capes and Cows, they immediately were like, yeah, this is giving me Days of Thunder vibes, including the fact that, instead of a Tom Cruise, you have a Brad Pitt. And you've got this kind of rogue driver kind of doing their thing. So you're seeing a lot of those connections there. But then again, with Jerry Bruckheimer again producing, and again Krasinski both writing and directing here, this is one of those things where you're getting that same kind of 80s magic, a killer score. Hans Zimmer is in competition with literally only Ludwig at this particular moment. Ludwig, who's won a number of Oscars himself, his most recent project working with Ryan Coogler on Sinners. It's Hans and Ludwig's award to lose. They're going to fight back and forth over this, and it'll be really interesting to see how it ultimately plays out. But the scoring is absolutely phenomenal, and it even includes a similar structure for those 80s and 90s movie of having like a kind of key hit song to attach to this one. In this case, you had Lose My Mind with Don Toliver and Doja Cat, which is actually a banger.
Bounce back when bottles is on me. I'm pushing a new pen, rewriting the story. Hello to my old ways, goodbye to the nosebleeds.
It definitely is, but it reminds me of, again, with Top Gun Maverick, the One Republic song, I Ain't Worried About It, or whatever. I ain't worried about it right now.
1999 heroes.
Like that whole sequence, that whole mentality, you're plugging that same formula in. And part of what people like about this is there was this thing where we stepped away from letting movie stars guide movies. That is not the audience's doing. That is purely the studio's doing. And there's a lot of really great videos on it. I definitely recommend Adam Conover. You would know him best from Adam Ruins Everything. He's done a lot of sketches with College Humor, all that kind of stuff. He has a YouTube video. I'll put a link in the description to it about how the studios killed the movie stars. And the reason they did that is it became easier to control movies how you want them to go. If it's like, I'm going to see the new Iron Man movie, instead of saying, I'm going to go see the new Robert Downey Jr. movie. Or I'm going to go see the new Spider-Man movie, instead of being like, I'm going to go see the new Tom Holland movie. That pretty much has been the case if you look at a lot of the recent iterations of this. But again, in America, our royalty tends to be celebrities. And that is further splintered off. If the kings and queens are the A-list movie stars and things like that, it's splintered off that all these like dukes and duchesses and shit would be essentially influencers and kind of what they've done, whether we like it or not. But that's truly what ends up happening, is that folks get into that kind of idea. So when you get a great actor paired with another great actor On top of that, you're getting young and old, so you're getting Damson Idris, excuse me, and then Brad Pitt being able to work off of each other, and you get that tale of, the old dude's got the demon he's got to shake and stuff like that, and, Sonny having that horrific accident in the movie, and it ended his F1 career prematurely, and then he's got to try and prove something. And then you have Damson Idris's character, Joshua Pierce. He's the young upstart that, like, if he doesn't get it together, then his career's over before it starts. And they have a lot in common. They're both brash. They're both very good at what they do. They're both will do whatever it takes to get to their end goal. And watching them both, Joshua Damson getting some wisdom from Sonny and trying to learn from his mistakes, but at the same time, Sonny learning a little bit more humility because he's and getting his kind of groove back as a lot of this is going. It really adds for a great dynamic. Add a little love story between Kate McKenna, which is Carrie Condon's character, with Sonny, Brad Pitt. Add the kind of friendship thing with Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt, and then on top of that, old dude that was trying to essentially make the sale happen. I think it was played by Tobias Menzies, if I remember correctly. But trying to make the sale happen and screw over our main characters. That's that perfect recipe of, like, you're rooting for the heroes to figure it out, to really make it happen, and the crashes constantly happen. The fact that both Joshua and Sonny have pretty gnarly crashes through the course of the story that we're watching, that's all the stuff that you're looking for. And the funny thing is, you go and look at Top Gun Maverick, and it's kind of the same formula. Tom Cruise, older, like, Top Gun pilot who in the first movie was really brash. I know there isn't a first movie to this, but has something to prove, gets brought back into the Top Gun program. There's a young upstart, played by Miles Teller, who's trying to become that new guy, and they're kind of pushing off of each other. Obviously, Rooster in that case kind of hates Sonny because he feels like his dad died because of him, not really knowing how that all went down with Goose. Truthfully, there's a lot of parallels here. There are a lot of parallels, and clearly it's a formula that works. It's a formula where generations can genuinely tap in and go, wow, this is cool. And then when you plug it into something that already is exciting, so with Top Gun, you're talking about fighter planes and all that stuff. And then with F1, you're talking about one of the biggest, sporting leagues in the world, one of the highest stakes, speed. Speed is clearly at the center of both of it. People are fascinated with speed. All of that collectively, paired with just really good character development, that all makes for a recipe for success. Now, is this something that we're going to be able to automatically replicate? Yes and no. I think that there are some elements to take away from it to see the elements that truly worked. Really have movie stars at the forefront, and you've got a number of them, but the main three here being Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, and Javier Bardem. Letting them, and Carrie Condon, we can throw all four in there. Let them really lead the way. And then build everything out from there. Having the generations, again, I mentioned that multiple times, having Pitt and Damson, having both, that allows both generations to want to go see it. I can see a lot of dads taking their sons. I could see, all sorts of stuff. I remember taking my dad to go see Top Gun Maverick when it came out for that kind of same reason. There was this kind of father-son element there that was kind of going on. I think that also brings that in. Again, good looking, not that there are ugly actors in there now. I mean, there's some character actors that exist, but Brad Pitt and Damson Idris are considered two of the most handsome men in Hollywood, and so you got some eye candy for for all the ladies, for all the queer folk, etc., etc. There's beautiful people all over this thing. There's just a lot going on. Obviously, I would have loved to see a little bit more of a fleshed out story, but the story works for what we're doing. We're just here to have a good time and to geek out and to have thrills and chills and to let the score take us somewhere, which, again, Hans Zimmer does absolutely fantastically. So what I will say is I have to give Apple credit because they took all of it together. Again, the IP of F1, the racing league and all that, and applying that, and even having Lewis Hamilton as an executive producer on the movie as well. Really, really smart move. And it just became a must-see. It's a must-see action movie for the summer. And when you consider you're going up against Superman, Fantastic Four, Jurassic World, this is going to feel like the summer standout, in my opinion, for movies that were, sure, it was anticipated, but I would make the argument this was definitely number 4 on the list out of all of those mega blockbusters just because of the era that we're in. And this is going to have ripple effects. Apple is doing a really good job of finding a gap, getting in there, and then once they've shaken stuff up and people are paying more attention to them, that warrants them getting more projects greenlit and just kind of going. They're not, sure, there's a few things that you've never heard of, but that's the funny thing about it is they don't really put stuff out there that puts them in such a hole that it's a problem. They just seem to always hit. We only hear about their hits. They're very good at their marketing. They're very good at their PR. They're very good at putting these movies out there. So I honestly think we're going to see an age where Apple jumps truly at the forefront of the studios, and it becomes the studio to watch out for. I know we talk about all the time on Capes and Cowls and Spill the Tequila how Warner Brothers is in trouble, and they have a lot riding on Superman, and they're even splitting up their movie and their TV division completely and whatnot. We've talked about Disney where like some of those live action remakes are working and some of them aren't. I mean, like Snow White, for example, did not do very well. Lilo and Stitch did pretty well box office wise, but people had some issues with the movie and things like that. So like they're trying to figure that out and hoping that Marvel gets its groove back as well. So I think when you're going to put this kind of talent together, you're going to get a formula for success, no pun intended. And on top of that, I think this is great PR for F1. For anybody that's not been a huge racing person, they might get more intrigued now to try and go and watch this now that they kind of understand how the league works and all that kind of stuff. I think they did a great job in showing the scoring. I think they did a great job of showing the scoring within the league. I think they did a great job with the cinematography, so people are really interested in driving and things like that. I think all of that worked very, very well. So if I had to rank this, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.5 out of 5. This is a very, very good film. I definitely will want to watch it again. Though personally, I'm going to try and go see it in 4DX if I can, or even IMAX. I saw it in Prime. Prime is really good. But those would be the only two ways I would personally see it again in the theaters. Otherwise, I can wait until it comes out either on streaming for Apple or on Blu-ray. But this is definitely a summer blockbuster to go see. And it genuinely might be the dark horse of the summer. I don't think it'll take number 1, but I do think it could usurp 2 or 3 on that list for box office this summer. And that's saying something. So let me know what you think in the comments. Were you enjoying the film? Did you like it? Who was your favorite character or your favorite story beat? I would love to know what you're thinking in there. Who do you think is going to win between Hans Zimmer and Ludwig? I definitely want to know that too. And finally, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, throw a thumbs up on this video. Get in the conversation. I greatly appreciate it. Check out one of the other videos that I have popping up on here. I did my who do I think is going to be on Sam Wilson's Avengers team. You can check that out. Or you can check out one of the other videos that I've got put up right now, some other reactions and things like that. But I am going to be gone for the 4th of July, so definitely be sure to stick around, check out the stuff. I'm going to schedule some stuff before I leave, and we'll be back next week with even more goodness, man. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the flip, man. Peace.